believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
CBS News presents Man on the Moon, the epic journey of Apollo 11. Here from CBS News Apollo headquarters at Kennedy Space Center, correspondent Walter Cronkite.
Good morning. It's T-minus 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 53 seconds and counting in just an hour and a half. If all goes well, Apollo 11 astronauts Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins are to lift off from pad 39A out there on the voyage man always has dreamed about. Next stop for them, the moon.
10, 9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Oh boy, it looks good, Wally. Building shaking. We're getting that buffeting we've become used to. What a moment. Man on the way to the moon. So we've seen another beautiful Saturn launch, but this one will never be known in history or by those of us who watched it as just another Saturn V launch. Not if all goes well, because this is the flight from which man will first set foot on the moon. We almost glibly toss that line away now, man on the moon. But by golly, just think it over.
Hey, that's a great shot right there. We see you in there. Guess that's Neil and Mike.
At this point, they were 203,000 miles from the Earth.
Hello there, Earthling. Hello there. 11, Houston, if that's not the Earth, we're in trouble.
4 days after launch, July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 command ship Columbia was orbiting the moon with Michael Collins at the helm, while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin began their descent in the lunar module.
Apollo 11, everything going well for a landing on the moon, 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 14 seconds from now.
Right, Houston, Eagle is ready to copy. Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
Oh, great go. One of the better goes I've heard in a long time.
Boy, we're go for landing on the moon. Oof.
30 seconds forward. Hey. Contact light, engine arm on.
We're home.
Man on the moon.
Houston,
Oh, jeez.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Boy.
Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute.
There's that foot going down.
There he is. There's a foot coming down the steps. Armstrong is on the moon. Neil Armstrong, 38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon on this July 20th, 1969.
One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
No, one small step for man, but I didn't get the second phrase. His quote was, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
There you go.
Welcome home.
And now we have 2 Americans on the moon.
Beautiful view. Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here. Magnificent desolation.
They're taking the cover off of the stainless steel plaque. mounted on one leg
We
there.
haven't read the plaque. We'll read the plaque that's on the front landing gear of this LEM. It says, "Dear men from the planet Earth, first set foot upon the moon, July 1969. It came in peace for all mankind."
There it is, a U.S. flag on the surface of the moon.
Yes, indeed. Beautiful, just beautiful.
That flag is on a frame. There is no wind to hold it out like that, of course. It's a 3x5 flag, and it's got a frame of its own to hold it out.
Neil and Buzz, the President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over. Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The first tourists on the moon. From their description, it sounds like someplace we might want to go after all. Aldrin called it magnificent desolation, Armstrong's stark beauty all its own. Well, for thousands of years now, it's been man's dream to walk on the moon. Right now, after seeing it happen, knowing that it happened, it still seems like a dream. And it is, I guess, a dream come true.
Their lunar explorations completed, astronauts Armstrong and Aldrin were ready for potentially the most hazardous part of their voyage, the ascent from the moon's surface back to the orbiting Columbia spacecraft.
Man has landed on the moon. Today, the second half of the mission begins. Return him safely. This engine, the lunar module ascent engine, been fired. It's a 3,500-pound thrust engine. It gets its first test, and it's got to work today if Armstrong and Aldrin are to return home safely.
Beautiful. 26, 36 feet per second up. 5 for the pitch over.
Engines firing, they're on the way.
1,000 feet high, 80 feet per second vertical rise.
Oh, boy. Diggity dog, huh?
Off and running now.
Yes, sir. Not much that can go wrong now. On the way home, splashdown is the next big event, and that comes Thursday shortly after noon. They've got a visual contract from Orion 3. They're seeing this glowing re-entry like a comet coming back to the Earth's atmosphere.
They're back from the moon.
Oh,
Astronauts Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins landing in the Pacific Ocean, southwest of Hawaii.
Apollo 11 is back from the moon, safe and sound. The crew is just reported to Air Boss as they rest in their command module there on the surface of the Pacific, that they're in fine shape aboard the aircraft carrier Hornet. President Nixon was waiting to greet the returned astronauts. Man's dream and a nation's pledge have now been fulfilled. The lunar age has begun. We may hope, but we should not believe in the excitement of today that the next trip or the ones to follow are going to be particularly easy. But we have begun with a small step for man, a giant leap for mankind, in Armstrong's unforgettable words. The date's now indelible. It's going to be remembered as long as man survives. July 20th, 1969, the day man reached and walked on the moon. The least of us is improved by the things done by the best of us, because if we are not able to land, at least we are able to follow. Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins are the best of us, and they've led us further and higher than we ever imagined we were likely to go.